we can get through this traffic. We might be able to make some noise. From World of Bikes Versatility here. Today we have a beautiful BMW F800GS. This is the 2008 model. The specific model is the highest spec that they came out in. It's the ABS spec, so it's got full ABS. This particular bike also has pretty much every optional extra except for panniers. It's got the high-rise screen. We've got some really nice crash bars, bash plate, top box on the back, among a whole bunch of other things. It's got spotlights as well, heated grips, etc, etc. So this bike is currently low on fuel, so I'm going to take you guys along with me for a trip to go and grab some fuel, do a quick review on the bike as well. Let's hope I get there. I'm confident I will. These bikes normally get really good gas mileage, so hoping for the best. I'm also really hoping you guys can hear me, because I know this bike's exhaust is quite loud. So I'm just going to drive it nice and cool. Later on we'll get on it a little bit more. Let's just hope I can get to the gas station at this point in time. So the F800GS, I did a review on a F800ST a couple of weeks ago, the Alpine white one. Also a stunning bike, not as high spec as that one didn't have ABS. Well, I think it did have ABS, but I don't think it was the highest spec that they came in. This particular bike is I'm not 100% sure what the yellow is. I know the orange is lava orange. I've had an orange one before. I haven't had one of these yellow ones. So 2008 first year model, as far as I'm aware, that the F800GS came out. Obviously now we have the GSAs from 2013, I believe, which is a bit of a modified one. We also received the F700s, which is basically a detuned version of this bike. I'm not a big fan of them because that detune is very apparent. But these bikes in particular, I have a very big soft spot for them, so I'm going to try and be as unbiased as I possibly can. So earlier I read up on some specs on the bike. So we've got 4-part brakes in the front with a, I believe it's 285mm disc or 300mm disc. And then for the rear, it's 2-part with a 235mm disc. Bike makes a healthy 85 horsepower, which is very similar to the F800ST. It's pretty much identical. I think that one makes 86 or 87, according to the specs that I found. 80 Newton meters, which is not bad. Honestly, I think this bike is more than you will ever need. In terms of, especially for new riders, I wouldn't be against it to put a new rider on this bike. I think it's a very manageable bike. It's a very controllable bike. They're extremely comfortable to ride, very easy to ride, especially in day traffic. And here in South Africa, I see a lot of South Africans buying these motorcycles specifically just for commuting, and especially the longer distances, guys that are doing 40+ kilometers a day. I know that might not seem too long, but that is a common commute in South Africa. This bike also gets 19.6 kilometers to a liter, so a 40-kilometer commute is roughly going to cost you 2 liters in fuel, which is phenomenal considering it's going to be very difficult to find a car for the same value that's going to give you the same mileage. Especially that car is probably not going to end up being a weekend toy as well. I must admit, I am incredibly tempted to contact some of my adventure buddies and do a video on this bike and just go and do some adventure riding in the mountains, see what it handles like out there. I know it'll handle really well. Unfortunately, that's the thing with the GS's, is like almost if it doesn't do the best in its class, it's disappointing, and I don't blame anyone. I mean, these bikes used to carry a premium tag. Now obviously, like this 08 not as much. It is a little bit more expensive than your 650s, obviously. And I mean, when I mean a little bit more, you're looking at 10 grand more around there, 10,000 rand. So nothing incredible. Another thing about this GS that might be particularly well, that would definitely be an eye grabber is the mileage on it. It's got 92,600 kilometers. In miles, I've got no idea roughly how much that is. Probably around, my guess is 40,000 miles, which isn't very unheard of in these bikes at all. I've seen F800s do 180 to 220,000 kilometers in their lifetimes without the engine even being opened, in terms of doing engine work. Obviously clutches will be replaced. Every now and then you'll need to replace a stator or something like that. But I've never personally had any issues with stators, rectifiers, those kinds of things. I don't have any friends that have had issues with them, so I would definitely say it's a very reliable bike. This particular one has got a full service history. It still has its original book, still has its original toolkit, which is very nice. It's kind of rare to get bikes that are almost 14 years old now to still have toolkits and service manuals. So yeah, overall, how this bike rides, it's very comfortable, it's very easy. I can't really complain. I can't say anything wrong about it. If you're a bit of an experienced rider, you might complain because it's a little bit on the slow side. Hopefully you guys got a little bit more of a exhaust note through there. Some people complain that it's a little bit on the slow side. I was very surprised to see that this bike has a top speed of 199 kilometers per hour. I don't know if that's electronically restricted. I don't know if that's best case scenario. Would I be comfortable riding this bike at 180 to 200 kilometers an hour? Yes. Obviously in closed circuit scenarios, or if you're for some reason in Mexico, apparently, as the YouTubers would love to say, yes, I would absolutely do 160 plus on this bike and not be worried by the slightest. This is a very comfortable bike to ride. It handles absolutely everything you could throw at it. This is hands down probably the bike I would choose if I have to ride a motorcycle every day. I know Sean from SRK Cycles did a review on it, and he pretty much said the same thing about the 1200. These are exceptionally comfortable bikes. They're exceptionally good bikes. They're very flawless in many ways. The only flaw that I would say about this bike per se is just that it's a little loud, and I'm very stressed that you guys can't hear me over the microphone. But other than that, it's pretty much perfect. I mean, this thing you can control with your hips to a certain degree. A lot of people might be worried that this bike is extremely wide. In my experience, it isn't as wide as it looks. Like, you can cut through traffic like that quite comfortably without an issue. So we're driving past the gas station here, but I know there's another one a little bit further, and I'm not done talking about this gorgeous bike. Overall, I'd say I'm a really big GS fan. I'm a really big BMW fan, and I think that was apparent in the F800s, especially coming from a racing background where a lot of my focus is more around handling, or more handling than performance. So handling first, performance second. I think longevity wise, you're not going to find a better bike. You're not going to find a better bike that you can do so much with. I mean, you can pretty much do anything with this bike. You can go on the highway, you can go off-roading with your buddies, you can go all the way up into the mountains, you can drive it home right after that without any issues. It's a really comfortable bike. I can't complain about it. I don't think there is anything I can complain about it as such. This isn't the Boxster motor. I don't know, I'm just not a big fan of the Boxster design, but that I think stems from my automotive experience. There's a little 2-cylinder in here that kicks out 85 horsepower, makes more than enough power for you to have a lot of fun with. Your friends are most definitely not going to leave you behind if you're driving similar things. I mean, comparing this to something like the Honda 1000 Vandero or the Africa Twin, especially the older ones, this bike's going to keep up with them very comfortably, and it's probably going to decimate them in the mountains. This is a bike I would drive this every day. I would have no problem. It's very comfortable. You can do anything with it, and I think that's the beauty of it. You can strip it down, put the low-rise screen on it, take all the boxes off of it, and you've got a really good highway cruiser that's not going to break the bank because the fuel economy on it is so beautiful. Or you can pop on the high-rise screen. You can, that dude is on his cell phone, thank you for stopping. You can pop on the high-rise screen, add some pannier bags or pannier boxes as well as the top box, and you've got a tourer. I mean, I would very comfortably ride this bike to Cape Town. I would not do it in one sitting. I don't think anyone is, well, I know there's people mad enough to do that, but I'm not one of them. So yeah, overall I can't say much wrong with this bike. It's a stunning bike. They drive beautifully. They're extremely comfortable, really good on fuel. I know normally a tank gets me around 280 kilometers if I'm not mistaken. I haven't driven this whole bike for a whole tank yet, but I've done a good, I think it's 80 or 90 kilometers on it so far. Really a big fan of these bikes. I absolutely love them. I will always buy them. I'll always try and sell them, but I know one day I'm definitely going to keep one. So that's me signing out, guys. I hope you guys have a great morning, evening or afternoon.